So in our workshop, we're going to start off disrupting people's understandings of what it means to be Indigenous.
Move them beyond looking Indigenous, carrying blood quantum cards, and really getting into daily behaviors, ceremony, rituals, different understandings, understanding the vast diversity within families or across tribes or across regions, you know, in the United States, outside the United States, even rural, urban, reservation contexts.
Because it's quite important, because so many of the definitions of culture have those who aren't white as marginalised. So culture will be defined to include people who are on the edges of society. And actually what culturally responsive evaluation is trying to do is re-centre people back in their own worldview and acknowledging it and valuing it. So that conversation about who is Indigenous has a lot to do with culture. And so we start from there before we start talking about what it means to be responsive.
Okay. That sounds like it ties really close with your mission and vision for BPC, Nikki.
Well, right, and we always say we work with people, not on them, and that's a very circular philosophy, I guess. We sit around the council fire, as we say, so when we work, we sit around, you know, it's usually a boardroom table. We try to get talking circles and things, and not be in rows. I don't like rows.
With food?
With food. Always with food.
food.
And we usually have gifts and giveaways, which we will this time. We can't say what it is, though. It's a tightly guarded secret. We're not millionaires, so it's nothing like Oprah would give away or anything like that. And then being able to empower folks, working with them, not on them, also implies learning with us along the way, being authentically engaged continuously throughout, helping build their skills and capacities. A lot of the communities we work with don't have human subjects or cultural subjects protections. So, as you know, when you come in like as an external evaluator, for instance, from money that comes outside of the community, from say a federal funding source, or it could be a large nonprofit, we help them not only set up the design, but we help them answer the reports, and we also ask them, what kind of information do you need for your community, and then is there someone we can work with so that we can kind of, you know, build the skills of folks. And if you want to share data or not for reporting or publishing, that needs to be within their you know, data ownership, and they need to be able to have some say in that relationship, because quite often it's a very lopsided relationship. It has been in the past. So I like that, you know, going back to the idea of recentering and just not only engaging the Indigenous community, but also the academic community, and saying this is, you know, in my, you know, it's moral, ethical, and it's legal if you think about it from a multi-jurisdictional framework, because tribes are sovereign governments, so that's what they should be doing.
I think what you said is really important. We went through a phase in the 1990s where people stopped using the word empower, because it had those connotations of something being done to people. I think we've recaptured that, because empowerment is about working with people to share skills, share knowledge, and build knowledge with them. And so, you know, part of it is encouraging people to write together. And it might not necessarily be about the evaluation findings, but about how to do evaluation in culturally responsive ways, so that that knowledge base is really built up. So that that academic community who thinks that written literature is so important can find really good guidance about good practice.
I also think that an often forgot art, not with us, is that the empowerment only comes, empowerment is only something that the Indigenous community needs. How often do we work on projects where we're totally bringing the funder along, or the outsiders?
Yes.
They don't know what's a tribe. How does it function? What's the governance? How does it operate? Isn't everybody, we heard that yesterday. Isn't everyone the same? Are you 100% Indian? Do all tribes, you know, basically have the same structure? So a lot of the teaching and the empowerment comes, to me, more to the academic community. They just don't take it as well, you know, or they're not as gracious about it. And I don't know if that's politically correct to say, but it's hard for them a lot of times when we work with primes and different folks who don't know about Indigenous people to, you know, to say, you can't say it like that. You have to, work like this, or just literally teaching them there's 11 tribes in the state or 566 tribes in the United States. They just don't know basic facts like that.
And I think that feeds into why I think it's really important to take evaluation back to a discussion of what the problem is. So you've got a program or an initiative that's being developed in an Indigenous community that's supposed to address a problem. But whose understanding of the problem is it? So I think you've got a lot of academics who are driven by disparities analyses, which are really good, but often the disparities that are seen in many of our communities are not what the communities themselves see as their need, the problem. And even if they see it as a problem, it might not be a priority for them. So we're at home now talking about needs, priorities and aspirations, because another thing that's often missing from that analysis is the aspirations communities have, the focus on just the problem, those needs, and our communities aspire to be just brilliant and fabulous. And I know part of what we do is actually offering a structural analysis. So we're looking at how structurally people are kept marginalised, kept in a low status position in society. And we were just talking about the justice system does that, the education system by excluding people, all sorts of structural problems that are often embedded in individuals as personal deficits. So we're trying to unpackage that and say actually people have needs, but they also have aspirations, and often those aspirations are stifled by the organisations and institutions they encounter.
I agree.
You agree?
I agree. You said it brilliantly. What am I supposed to add to
I've
that?
had lots of coffee today.
I haven't. I've only had 2.